Next up, we have Pete Jimison from Frequency and Chris Blackburn from Dax. Together, they make audio ads personalized, scalable, and easy to buy. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Sean. So we've got basically 1 minute to fly through our...
No, you're good. You're good. You got your 15 minutes. You're good.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding around. Well, great. So I'm going to just jump in real quick. I'll share my screen and I'll introduce myself. So I am Pete Jimison, CEO of Frequency. I've been in the audio space for about 10 years now. First started as an agency, worked hand in hand with Spotify very closely, helped build out a lot of the creative suite of products that they sold across the globe. And then we started building out our own technology and launched that, which is Frequency. We've been around for the last about 4 years. And in this presentation, we've partnered with Dax. So you can run Frequency audio across any publisher that you so choose, Spotify, Pandora, et cetera. But we have a partnership with Dax, and we have a couple special packages that we're offering and bringing to the Cogent Collective here today that you guys can take advantage of. So I'll do a quick walkthrough of Frequency. So we're essentially a creative management platform for audio. So thinking about what we just heard from Hunch and taking that personalization and adding in the aspects that are needed for audio. So production of audio ads. So how do you find the vocal talent? How do you get the audios produced? Do you need sound effects, music beds, things of that nature? Delivery of those ads. We have our own DCO system. So you got to think about like flash talking, but for audio. And then measurement. And we do the measurement all the way down to the end level creative. And so what we're trying to do is deliver the right audio message at the right time. And we use the same type of data triggers that you would see, like Hunch was mentioning: weather, device, location, time, content. But we also can use additional data that you provide as a brand or other third-party information. We're doing something with sports scores right now. We can do things with stock tickers. So there's a lot of opportunities that exist. And just for some thought starters for dynamic creative in the audio space, we run a number of campaigns around geolocation, proximity based off radiuses of the specific store locations. We do a lot of things around, desktop device versus mobile, and then time of day versus day of week. So changing the creative, thinking about like mealtime with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or day of week, thinking about, at night versus the weekend. You can really start to see performance of how your audio is performing across different publishers and at the different times of day, days of week, and provide optimization during the course of the campaign rather than at the end of the campaign. I'm going to show you guys an example right now of a campaign we actually ran with Dax for Subway. And this was heard, basically they were changing the creative across 70+ markets, many different iterations of creative each week, depending on the type of promotion of subs that they were offering. And then they would change the creative based on the weather. So if it was raining, they were highlighting a promotion to use their app.
Welcome to the Subway ad for the Subway app. How would you like it?
Oh, the weather's bad today. Let's do Storm Chaser.
You bet. Weather conditions have deteriorated, and I'm very hungry. But don't despair. I used the Subway app on my smartphone and ordered ahead. Now I can pick up my dinner quicker and get out of this weather. I hope that was my stomach. Subway, make it what you want. App and online ordering available at participating restaurants. Please allow 15 minutes for pickup.
So in that example, you could hear him call out the app. You could hear the rain. So all those different effects, sound effects that are played in based on that weather. And we do this all the time with a number of brands. You can see the uplift that occurs based on the fact that it's contextually much more relevant, right? You have that recall ability for the ad based on the much more personalized content. So you can traffic your ad with Frequency across any ad server or DSP that exists out there. You can also go direct to those publishers. So if, let's say, you want to do it with Spotify, or you want to do it Pandora, iHeart, or Dax, you just go ahead and say, we're going to use the Frequency system and provide them the VAST tag. So it's a third-party VAST tag. Everything is handled and served via our system. And we're using macros to make those decisions in real time. The measurement is between first party and third party. So we collect everything, again, down to the end creative: impressions, companion interviews, click-through rate, listen-through rate, and then Frequency itself. And then on the third-party tracking, you can provide any pixel you want on the back end of the VAST tag. You can look at the audio banner impression pixel, click-out pixel, attribution, so in-store traffic or conversions. And then listener insight ID, which is something that Dax offers that helps really look at incrementality and additional, like, geo matching. So I'm going to pass it over to Chris, who's been kind enough to do a presentation on DAX and their offer, and then we'll talk about specifically the packages that we're bringing to the Cogent Collective.
Thanks, Pete. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Blackburn, and I lead revenue and business development at DAX. I also have a career that has always been deeply seated in the audio space, more recently having worked at SoundCloud, leading their ads division. If you want to keep on going, Pete, what you've been hearing about from Pete is really about how important context is in your messaging. I think we can all agree about that. Dynamic creative has, a storied history in display, in video, and it's really been about time for audio to be reaping from the benefits of you're making sure you're reaching the right audience, and that audience is actually receiving a contextually relevant message for you. The role that DAX plays in this equation is we represent some of the most premium pure play and live streaming audio publishers in the space. So, after Spotify and Pandora, there is a long middle tail of audio listening across a wide array of premium listening environments. On the pure play side, we define pure play as on-demand listening. So AudioMac, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora fall into this pure play of app-based listening. Live streaming is how we define the digital streams of terrestrial players. So people that really love listening to the radio on their mobile app, mobile web, or desktop, really like listening to live streaming audiences. And what this all sort of combines to be is a very large differentiated audience. I'm going to keep going, Pete. That is also really importantly not duplicated with Spotify and Pandora. 110 million monthly uniques at scale. And then what's really critical is that you make sure you're not hitting the same consumers over and over again. So this is one of the chief problems that DAX helps solve, is ensuring that you as advertisers are not reaching new consumers and are not hitting the same consumers over and over again. I would guess if I pulled the audience right now, most of us would be probably paying for one of these services and not receiving ads. And the reality is that Spotify is just incredible at converting to subscriptions. So you really want to be thinking about what is the ad-supported audio ecosystem looking like, and where is the consumption happening? The truth is that it's happening across a wide array of publishers. After that piece around ensuring that you're reaching new audiences, we want to hone in and make sure that you are actually not wasting any sort of impressions with your targeting approach. Our approach to targeting is to take a unified approach to first, second, and third party targeting. We work with Nielsen as our preferred DMP, but we're also able to ingest, your first party targeting segments through a Xandr or a LiveRamp. After targeting, our second sort of tentpole at DAX is really about measurement. So audio does deliver outcomes. Audio is traditionally thought about as more upper funnel awareness or reminder tactics. Through the right technology, with Listener Insight ID being one of those technologies, you're actually really able to prove out that audio plays a much more important role in more middle and lower funnel tactics. And this has really been proven out by a wide array of advertisers and more direct response focused agencies like Veritone and Ad Results that we work with, where if audio is not delivering the outcomes that these partners are looking for, then it would be cut, but it's really not. This is one of the largest areas of growth in media right now. To sort of append that measurement piece, DAX created Listener Insight ID as our proprietary measurement technology. We also work with every single third-party measurement. So it's, we're not just sitting here grading our own homework, but the technology is really transformative. What it does is it is a measurement solution for audio built with audio in mind. What I mean by that is if you were trying to measure success of an audio campaign through things like clicks on a banner, you're kind of missing the point that audio is a non-visual medium. What Listener Insight ID does is that we pixel the audio creative, we pixel a client site, we create a look back window of 2 to 4 weeks, and then we instill a fingerprint on every single listener that we know has heard the ad. And then we're able to then attribute that the media exposure led to a result once the consumer takes an action and goes on that site. This can be combined with footfall traffic tracking technology like Cubic or Place to prove that that we're driving people to retail or to take a test drive of an auto. And of course, it works wonders in e-commerce where you can really start to follow the listener. Once DAX has sent you that listener, you can start to follow them down the consumer funnel on your website. What kind of promotions did they click? Who was the listener? What were their demographic and psychographic information? This is just kind of a taste, if you want to keep going, Pete, about some of the types of rich insights and results that combining the right content and audiences with the right technology can actually deliver for you. And Subway was another great example of that, using really creative weather triggers and location device settings to really customize the message here. In this case with Unilever, they're launching a new Dove product specifically in Target stores, and we combined listener insight ID with a sales uplift technology called ANSA to really be able to prove out that our media was making an impact, and it truly was. We were able to see who were taking actions, what were the audience insights, the demographics of those that were taking actions and showing up at the stores to buy the product, what was return on ad spend, as a key sales insights, and so much more with that. And so finally, to kind of go back to where we started, which is really critical, and in our partnership with Frequency, which we value quite a bit, is that, content is king, but a very close second to that is context. You really need to be thinking about what is the context of my conversation with the consumer. And during the holiday period, when messaging and media is more cluttered than ever, I think you'd want to really think about the context piece being a heightened aspect even more, where you're putting the right message in front of the right customer. So with that in mind, it's a great time this year to be thinking about how you're engaging your holiday shoppers, and every little bit of extra context helps. So creative ways to be using weather, device, location, time can really set you apart. Your device piece, your conversation and tone with someone listening to audio via a smart speaker in their home setting should be probably different than speaking to a consumer who is commuting on the way to work, or actually at work, or in school, or what kind of environment that you're in. For retail, often using time of day, reminder tactics, or weather triggers, especially combined with sort of geofencing to drive people into retail, is a really important tactic, and we see actually drives up engagement and conversions by 2 to 3 times. So with that in mind, we put together some very thoughtfully and aggressively priced packages that combine the power of the Frequency technology against dynamic creative and context. I think everyone should take a shot every time I say that, with the premium audiences and listening environments that DAX represents exclusively, to give you the rich context and actual engagement and insights to break through the clutter and make a real impact with your holiday packages. We have a lot more information to share around these. We have a lot more information actually on how the technology works with Frequency, how the actual publishers and audiences that DAX as a company represents, so you can really get to understand what is unique and interesting about these listening environments. But I'll turn it over to Pete to wrap.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So as Chris mentioned, there's a lot of more information that we have that you can see actually in this deck. So if you want to reach out to Sean or Tom, when my page changes, there's a publisher one sheets that go overview of each and every one of the publishers that DAX represents. And then there's some more case studies if you guys want to kind of dive into, how audio can be effective for you or a brand that's similar to you in a specific vertical. And then of course, we're always available. So, feel free to reach out. Sean and Tom can provide our contact information. And we're doing a lot for the holidays. And we have many examples that we've run in the past, specifically around like points of interest, products, with call outs, with time of day matched up, with it, was it Black Friday or before Christmas? So, you let us know. We can always be there to brainstorm with you and work on the creative with you. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Pete. Appreciate it. Let me put up your, I had 2 for you, 2 polls, but we'll put up 1. While you're doing that, I think it's important for context, just for Cogent to state that Frequency is our partner and DAX is Frequency's partner. And although Frequency has a great creative product, the audio space in general is new for a lot of people. We wanted to come up with a way to make this turnkey for brands and agencies to trial into this medium, right? It can seem overwhelming, and Pete and DAX can help simplify the process for you. And it's a great way to really stand out with all the noise that's out there. Just a couple of questions, Pete. Going back to the very beginning, talking about workflow management, how early can a brand or agency leverage Frequency services? Starting with like voice talent, script writing, like where do you guys come into the picture?
Yeah, often we recommend that a brand starts with some type of script just to give us kind of the guidelines, right? We run that through our system. We've got a number of vendors that we work with. We can clean the script up, or we can actually write the script itself. But then essentially what we're going to be doing is getting you guys in a schedule where we have vocal talent that's cast. So we'll provide talent that matches your brand and what you're going for. There's a form that you can fill in that basically identifies each and every factor. So male, female, what age range, what's the type of personality that is coming through in the voice, along with music bed and sound effects. And so as that information comes through, we then take that, pass it over to the specific vendors that you agree to work with through our platform, and then the assets are produced. And the assets can be produced very quickly, within 2 to 3 days, or if you're doing more of a large-scale dynamic campaign, you're talking probably 2 to 3 weeks with approvals. So that's the process and the production side. And then, as soon as the assets are produced, it can be dropped into the platform, and a VAST tag can be produced within minutes, and then trafficked out. So it's really very quick. So if you're thinking about something last minute, and you've got some leftover budget for the holidays, this is something that can be done. You can dip your toes in the water. As Sean mentioned, the reason why we brought DAX to the table here is because they're a great partner for kind of getting started in audio if you haven't done it yet, and a great partner if you've been doing audio with Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, and you want to expand your reach. And the CPM is quite effective.
Great. And actually, as a nice segue to the last question, which is, how does frequency help my scale in audio if I already work with Spotify? Do I need to create separate campaigns, or can I leverage the creative for all my campaigns? Sorry, I was trying to decipher that question.
Yeah. So the great thing about working with frequency is that the creative can be consistent across wherever you run the audio. So if you want to do it across 3 or 4 publishers, you can use the same creative, keep it consistent, and you're measuring it in one central place, which is also very much valued, since you're going to be getting different formatted reports from each one of those partners. And sometimes they don't provide all the information that you may be looking for.
Great. Thank you, Pete.